Have you ever felt that gnawing sensation in your stomach as you watch a market rally unfold without you? That almost physical pain when prices surge and your account balance remains unchanged? This feeling, this desperate urge to participate at any cost, might be the single greatest destroyer of trading accounts in history. Every day, thousands of traders sabotage their financial futures, not because they lack knowledge, but because they cannot control the most primal emotion in markets, the fear of missing out. It sits like a shadow over your shoulder, whispering that everyone else is making money while you're falling behind. And in that moment, strategy dissolves, discipline evaporates, and the buy button beckons like a siren's call. Has this ever happened to you? The markets are moving, volatility is picking up, and you feel that irresistible pull to jump in. Not because your system gave you a signal, but because you can't stand the thought of watching from the sidelines. You're far from alone. This psychological battle defines the difference between those who build lasting wealth in markets and those who vanish before their first meaningful profit. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Richard Wyckoff, one of the most profound market analysts who ever lived, identified something remarkable during his decades studying the behavior of successful traders. He discovered that what separated the consistently profitable from the perpetually struggling wasn't their analysis techniques or their trading systems. It was their relationship with time itself. Their willingness to do nothing when conditions weren't perfect. Their capacity to sit in silence while others scrambled for action. In one word, patience. It sounds deceptively simple, doesn't it? Almost trivial. Yet this single quality remains the most elusive skill for traders to master. Everyone believes they possess it until the market tests them, until price begins moving without them, until opportunity seems to be slipping through their fingers. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to discover might completely transform how you approach markets. The masters of this game understand something that most never grasp. The market doesn't reward action, it rewards correct action. And correct action often means waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect setup, when risk is minimized and probability massively favors your position. What if I told you that the most profitable thing you could do today wasn't placing a trade, but refusing to place one? What if your edge isn't found in your entry technique or your exit strategy, but in your ability to wait when others cannot? The implications of this shift in mindset reach far beyond your trading account. They touch the very core of how you perceive opportunity, time, and your relationship with markets. If this perspective on trading patience resonated with you, hit subscribe to join our community of disciplined traders who understand that true edge comes from mastering psychology, not just technical analysis. We dive deep into these transformative insights that most educators never touch. The transformation begins when you realize that the market operates on a completely different timeline than your emotions. While your psychology craves constant feedback, constant validation, constant action, the market moves according to its own rhythm, indifferent to your needs or feelings. Think about this hidden truth for a moment. What if trading success isn't about how frequently you trade, but how selectively you trade? What if every decision to enter the market carries an invisible cost beyond the spread and commissions? A psychological cost that compounds with each impulsive action. The impatient trader is caught in a perpetual cycle of reaction. They see a candlestick formation and immediately respond. They hear a piece of news and instantly position themselves. They notice a technical indicator and reflexively place an order. This mindset creates the illusion of progress. After all, they're doing something, they're participating, they're in the game, but behind the scenes, something devastating is occurring. With each impulsive trade, they're burning through their most precious resource, mental capital. Long before their financial capital depletes, their capacity for clear thinking, emotional regulation, and disciplined execution begins to erode. They become exhausted by market noise, overwhelmed by information, and increasingly prone to emotional decision-making. The market has a particularly cruel way of punishing this behavior. It's almost as if it can sense desperation, moving against the impatient with uncanny precision. The trader who cannot wait will invariably find themselves buying tops and selling bottoms, perpetually positioned on the wrong side of significant moves. I've witnessed this journey unfold countless times. Talented analysts who understand market structure but cannot resist the urge to act before their analysis confirms itself. Strategic thinkers who develop brilliant game plans but abandon them at the first sign of market volatility. Their trading journals tell the same story, a graveyard of prematurely entered positions, cut profits, and impulsive reversals. The revelation that changed everything in my own trading came when I analyzed my results over several years and discovered something shocking. Out of hundreds of trades, just a handful, less than 5%, accounted for over 80% of my total profits. And what characterized these trades wasn't some magical technical pattern or indicator setting. It was the patience that preceded them. They were trades where I had the discipline to watch the market for days, sometimes weeks, waiting for that precise moment when every condition aligned perfectly. This insight fundamentally altered my relationship with the market. Instead of seeing trading as a daily activity requiring constant participation, I began to see it as a selective process of finding the extraordinary among the ordinary. I stopped fighting the market's rhythm and started flowing with it. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring what happens psychologically when we make this shift from quantity to quality, from constant action to precise intervention. Because the journey toward mastering patience reveals something profound, not just about markets, but about how our minds process opportunity, risk, and time itself. If you've ever felt that tension between wanting to trade and knowing you should wait, type "patience over FOMO" in the comments below. What's fascinating about this journey is the transformation that occurs when you finally understand that waiting creates wealth. My deep dive into the financial histories of legendary traders revealed a counterintuitive truth that directly contradicts everything the financial media wants you to believe. The greatest profits don't come from constant trading, they come from perfect setups. This revelation contradicts the entire infrastructure built around retail trading. Trading platforms make money from transaction volume. Financial media profits from constant engagement. Every incentive in the ecosystem pushes you toward more action, more trades, more commissions. Yet the hidden truth remains that fortune favors the patient. I still remember the profound impact this had on my mindset when I analyzed the trading journals of several consistently profitable traders. The pattern was identical across different markets, timeframes, and strategies. A small minority of trades, often just 10–20%, accounted for 80–90% of the total profits. And these weren't random lucky strikes. They were trades where all conditions aligned perfectly, trades where risk was minimal and potential reward was exceptional. But here's where the journey takes an unexpected turn. Understanding the power of patience intellectually is one thing. Embodying it emotionally is entirely another. Our brain chemistry works against us. Each trade delivers a small dopamine hit regardless of outcome. The action itself, clicking the button, seeing the position open, watching the numbers change, creates a reward circuit that can become more compelling than actual profit. This is why patience isn't passive. It's the most active form of preparation. When you're sitting there, apparently doing nothing, you're actually engaged in an intense psychological battle. You're fighting against your own neurochemistry, against cultural conditioning that equates activity with progress, against the fear that opportunity is slipping away. Behind the scenes of every master trader's success lies this invisible discipline, the ability to study, analyze, and wait while others lose their composure. They're not simply abstaining from action. They're actively building potential energy. Like a predator in the wild, they appear motionless while every sense remains alert, every muscle ready to pounce at precisely the right moment. This quiet discipline may be the hardest skill to develop in our hyper-connected instant gratification world. We've been programmed to expect immediate feedback, immediate results, immediate validation. The market doesn't care about our expectations. It moves according to its own rhythm, rewarding only those who respect it. I've watched countless brilliant analysts destroy their potential because they couldn't handle the silence between genuine opportunities. They needed constant action to feel productive, constant feedback to feel engaged, constant validation to feel skilled. The market stripped them of their capital with mathematical precision, not because they lacked intelligence, but because they lacked patience. The journey to mastering this patience begins with understanding your own triggers. What makes you jump into trades prematurely? Is it fear of missing out? Is it boredom? Is it the need to feel productive? Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward transcending them. Let me reveal how this principle transforms when we move beyond just entries into the equally critical realm of managing open positions. Because while patience is crucial for entering trades, it takes an entirely different dimension when it comes to allowing your winners to fully develop. If you've recognized that your best trades came from setups where you waited patiently for all conditions to align, type quality over quantity in the comments. The revelation that transformed my understanding of markets came when I observed the stark difference between professional and amateur traders up close. What I discovered behind the scenes wasn't what I expected. The professionals weren't necessarily using more sophisticated algorithms, more complex indicators, or faster execution systems. In fact, their approach often appeared deceptively simple on the surface. The critical difference wasn't in their tools, but in their character. The greatest traders I've encountered have mastered something far more fundamental than market analysis. They've mastered themselves. They've developed that rare ability to sit in complete stillness when the market doesn't present optimal conditions, to maintain their composure when others are swept up in euphoria or panic. This inner alignment, this congruence between their strategy and their emotional state, creates a foundation for decision-making that amateurs simply cannot match. They don't fight the market's rhythm, they synchronize with it. They don't impose their will on price. They adapt to what price reveals. This mindset shift represents one of the most profound transformations any trader can experience, from trying to control the uncontrollable to mastering your response to it. But this journey towards self-mastery comes at a cost. The market is perhaps the most unforgiving teacher you'll ever encounter in your life journey. Unlike a mentor who might gently correct your mistakes or a coach who provides supportive feedback, the market delivers its lessons through your trading account, through real financial consequences that can sometimes be devastating. This brutal feedback mechanism is particularly harsh when it comes to teaching patience. There are no partial credits for almost waiting long enough. There are no gold stars for recognizing a pattern too late. The market's judgment is binary and immediate. Either you acted correctly or you didn't, and the financial impact follows accordingly. I've witnessed this revelation unfold countless times. The impatient trader is like someone facing a massive tidal wave armed with nothing but determination. paddling furiously against an immense force, convinced they can somehow impose their will on something infinitely more powerful than themselves. The patient trader, meanwhile, stands safely observing, analyzing, waiting for the perfect conditions before even considering entering the water. What makes this lesson so difficult to learn is that occasionally, just enough to reinforce bad habits, impulsive trading works. You might jump into a trade without proper analysis and catch a significant move. You might ignore your risk management rules and escape unscathed. These random rewards create a dangerous pattern of thinking where luck is mistaken for skill. But the market's mathematics always prevail in the long run. The edge belongs to those who can delay gratification, who can sit through periods of inactivity without compromising their standards, who understand that long-term success comes from quality decisions, not quantity of trades. This shift from trying to conquer the market to learning to flow with it represents one of the most profound transformations any trader can experience. Behind the scenes of every successful trading career lies this pivotal moment of surrender, when you finally accept that the market moves according to its own rhythm, not yours. If you've experienced that in a battle between wanting to force a trade and knowing you should wait for better conditions, write "surrender to flow" in the comments. What's fascinating about this patience manifests in practical terms is how it completely inverts our understanding of trading activity. Think of it as a coiled spring. Every day you spend studying the market without trading. Every hour you invest in refining your analysis without taking action. You're compressing that spring, building potential energy. When most traders see inactivity, what's really happening is an invisible accumulation of power. I remember a particularly enlightening period in my career when I went nearly 6 weeks without placing a single trade. My colleagues thought I'd lost interest or courage. Some even questioned whether I was experiencing burnout. Little did they know that I was more engaged than ever, more present, more focused on the subtle shifts in market structure, volume patterns, and price action. I was waiting for what Wyckoff called the composite operator to show his hand. And when that moment finally arrived, when price, volume, and time aligned perfectly with my analysis, I struck with absolute precision and conviction. That single trade, born from weeks of patient observation, yielded more profit than dozens of mediocre setups could have produced. The revelation in this approach extends beyond just avoiding bad trades. It fundamentally changes how you perceive the market. Instead of seeing it as a chaotic environment that must be tamed through constant engagement, you begin to view it as a flowing river of opportunity where strategic positioning and patience yield far greater returns than frenetic activity. But here's where we encounter a profound truth that's rarely discussed in trading education. Most traders fail not because they lack intelligence or even a workable strategy. They fail because they cannot endure boredom. This insight may sound trivial on the surface, but it highlights a profound psychological barrier that separates the professional from the amateur. Boredom in trading manifests as that restless feeling when the market isn't providing clear opportunities that match your criteria. It's that voice in your head whispering, maybe this setup is close enough, or I have a good feeling about this one. These moments of weakness represent critical decision points in your trading journey where your discipline is truly tested. Subscribe now to continue this journey of trading mastery with us, where we focus on the psychological dimensions that separate consistently profitable traders from those who struggle regardless of their strategy. These are the insights that transform trading results. What happens behind the scenes is fascinating. Traders begin with clear, well-defined criteria for what constitutes a valid trading opportunity. But as days pass without those exact conditions materializing, they start making compromises. They gradually lower their standards, rationalizing mediocre setups as intuition or reading between the lines. This subtle shift, this abandonment of discipline, is often so gradual they don't even realize it's happening. I've witnessed this transformation countless times, even in traders with exceptional analytical abilities. They start with rigid rules, but end up taking trades that barely resemble their original criteria. And when these subpar trades inevitably fail, they blame external factors, market manipulation, unexpected news, or bad luck, rather than acknowledging the true culprit, their inability to wait. Wyckoff understood that boredom isn't just an emotional state to overcome. It's a filter that separates those who have the mindset for trading from those who don't. The capacity to sit through periods of inactivity, to maintain your standards despite the psychological pressure to act, is perhaps the most reliable predictor of long-term trading success. If you've ever caught yourself lowering your standards just to place a trade when you're bored, write "boredom is my enemy" in the comments. This brings us to a deeper understanding of why the market rewards patience so consistently. At its core, patience isn't just about waiting, it's about control. It demonstrates mastery over the primary emotions that derail most traders: fear, greed, and the constant need for validation. This revelation transforms how we view the relationship between trader and market. You cannot master trading until you've mastered yourself. This is the hidden truth that most trading education neglects to emphasize. Every price movement, every tick, every candlestick formation serves as a test of your composure. The market constantly probes for weakness, for any sign that you might abandon your discipline. It's almost as if the market has a sixth sense for detecting impatience, moving against the undisciplined trader with uncanny precision. What's truly remarkable is how this principle of control through patience extends beyond trading into every aspect of life. Those who can delay gratification, who can resist impulsive action in favor of strategic patience, tend to excel not just in the markets, but in their careers, relationships, and personal growth journeys as well. The discipline of patience doesn't just protect your trading account, it reveals your character. It shows whether you can stick to your principles under pressure or whether you'll abandon them at the first sign of discomfort. This inner alignment between your stated values and your actual behavior creates the foundation for consistent trading results. The transformation happens when you no longer see yourself as someone trying to beat the market, but as someone developing the strength of character to operate effectively within it. Every time you resist an impulsive trade, you're not just saving money, you're building identity. Consider the difference between hunting and chasing as a powerful metaphor for trading psychology. Patient traders adopt the hunter's mindset. They study their prey, understand its habits, position themselves strategically, and wait for the perfect moment to strike. They conserve energy, knowing that precision and timing matter far more than activity. Impatient traders, however, embody the chaser, constantly pursuing, reacting to every movement, expending enormous energy with minimal results. This fragmentation of focus is exhausting both mentally and financially. They chase shadows instead of waiting for substance. The revelation comes when you recognize that these approaches aren't just different strategies, they're fundamentally different relationships with the market itself. The hunter sees the market as a natural ecosystem with rhythms and patterns that can be understood and leveraged. The chaser sees it as a chaotic adversary that must be conquered through constant engagement. Building genuine wealth in the markets requires three elements that run counter to our instant gratification culture: silence to hear what the market is truly telling you, precision in executing only your highest conviction ideas, and timing that comes not from prediction, but from patient observation of how price develops. Let me reveal how this hunter's mindset applies specifically to market structure, and why understanding the relationship between accumulation, distribution, and trend development gives the patient trader an almost unfair advantage in identifying high-probability entry points. If you recognize yourself in the description of either the hunter or the chaser, write "hunter, not chaser" in the comments. One of the most profound revelations in my trading journey came when I realized that structure creates patience. This insight completely transformed my approach to the markets. You simply cannot wait effectively if you don't know precisely what you're waiting for. Without clearly defined criteria, patience becomes an abstract concept rather than a practical trading tool. This hidden truth explains why so many traders struggle with consistency. They claim they want to be patient, but they haven't defined what patience means in concrete terms. It's like telling someone to wait for the right person without having any idea what qualities that person should have. The ambiguity makes discipline impossible. Developing your structure, your specific repeatable pattern, is the foundation of trading success. For me, that structure involves price action confirming a change in market phase, volume patterns supporting the move, and a favorable risk-to-reward ratio. When I clearly defined these elements, something magical happened. I stopped, feeling like I was missing moves because I recognized that the market provides endless opportunities if you wait for your specific setup. This mindset shift is liberating. Instead of feeling pressured to catch every market movement, you focus only on the setups that match your criteria. The market becomes an endless stream of opportunities rather than a series of missed chances. The key is defining what your ideal trade looks like with such clarity that you can immediately recognize it when it appears, and just as importantly, recognize when a setup doesn't meet your standards. The journey to developing this structure isn't always straightforward. It requires introspection, testing, and refinement. You must discover which market conditions work best with your psychology, time frame, and risk tolerance. This self-discovery process is as much about understanding yourself as it is about understanding the market. But structure isn't only important for entries. It's equally crucial for exits. This is where many traders falter on their path to consistency. They develop the discipline to wait for the perfect entry, only to abandon that same discipline when managing the trade. The psychology at work here is fascinating. The same patience that guides a well-executed entry often evaporates once real money is on the line. Now let me share what I believe to be one of the most critical distinctions in trading, the difference between patience and hope. They may appear similar on the surface, both involve waiting, but the underlying mindset creates dramatically different outcomes. Patience is rational, it's grounded in strategy, analysis, and evidence. When you're being patient, you're waiting for specific conditions that your testing has shown lead to profitable outcomes. You have clear criteria, and you're simply allowing the market time to meet those criteria. This waiting comes from strength and conviction. Hope, on the other hand, is purely emotional. It's what happens when a trade moves against you, but instead of following your exit plan, you hope the market will turn around. It's what makes traders average down on losing positions or ignore their stop losses. Hope is waiting without structure, without evidence. It's essentially waiting for a miracle. This distinction transformed my trading psychology. I realized that many times when I thought I was being patient with underwater positions, I was actually hoping. I wasn't following a strategy. I was abandoning it and replacing it with wishful thinking. If you've ever caught yourself hoping a trade would work out rather than sticking to your trading plan, write "patience, not hope" in the comments. The market doesn't reward those who ignore its rhythm. This revelation became clear to me when I studied how markets, like everything in nature, move in cycles: accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown. Each of these phases demands not just a different strategy, but a different kind of patience. The wisdom lies in recognizing which phase you're in and adapting accordingly. I've witnessed remarkable transformations when traders finally embrace this truth, and I've seen fortunes evaporate when they refuse it, when they stubbornly apply yesterday's strategy to today's entirely different market conditions. Behind the scenes of nearly every trading blow-up is this same story. A trader who made money in one market environment refuses to adapt when that environment changes. They keep forcing the same setups, the same time frames, the same position sizing even as the market clearly signals that conditions have shifted. This is where another counterintuitive truth emerges. Sometimes sitting out is itself a strategic position. There are periods in the market when the highest probability move is no move at all. When conditions are unclear, when volatility is excessive, when your particular edge isn't present, preservation of capital becomes the primary goal. The discipline to recognize when to step aside, to acknowledge that the market owes you nothing and that opportunities will always return, is perhaps the ultimate expression of trading maturity. This perspective shift transforms sitting on the sidelines from feeling like failure to recognizing it as strategic wisdom. It's like a skilled martial artist who knows when to engage and when to create distance. Both are active choices, both require awareness, both serve the ultimate goal. The journey toward this level of market awareness isn't linear. It unfolds through a series of revelations, setbacks, and breakthroughs that gradually reshape your relationship with time and opportunity. You begin to see that patience isn't something you achieve once and possess forever. It's a daily practice, a muscle that strengthens with use and atrophies with neglect. Each time you reject a mediocre setup, each time you recognize the temptation to trade for trading's sake and resist it, you strengthen your edge. Each time you withstand market noise without reacting, you sharpen your focus. These small daily victories compound over time, transforming not just your trading results, but your entire relationship with uncertainty. What Wyckoff understood decades ago remains profoundly true today. The market doesn't reward those who act first, but those who act right. And being right takes patience. The patience to wait for the perfect setup, the patience to wait for clarity, the patience to wait until the trade feels almost effortless because everything aligns so perfectly. Until that moment arrives, your most powerful position is waiting, because in waiting, you become dangerous. You preserve capital while others deplete theirs on subpar opportunities. You maintain emotional equilibrium while others exhaust themselves on market noise. You build potential energy while others waste kinetic energy. Mastering patience is mastering timing, and mastering timing is essentially mastering the market itself. This practice transforms trading from a stressful battle into a flowing dance, where you move in harmony with the market's natural rhythm rather than fighting against it. If you've experienced moments when stepping back from the market felt like the most powerful decision you could make, write strategic inaction in the comments. As we wrap up our exploration of Wyckoff's legendary rule, I hope you've gained a deeper appreciation for patience as a trading superpower rather than just another skill to acquire. The journey of mastering patience isn't simply about improving your trading results. It's about fundamentally transforming your relationship with the market itself. This path of developing elite-level patience doesn't happen overnight. It's a process of small daily choices that compound into remarkable results over time. Each moment you choose to wait for the perfect setup rather than forcing a trade, you're not just preserving capital, you're building character. What makes this community special is our shared commitment to this deeper approach to trading psychology. If you found value in this perspective, consider joining us by subscribing. Each week, we explore these hidden dimensions of trading success that most educators never touch. the real factors that determine your long-term profitability beyond just entry signals and indicators. The principles we've explored today connect directly with market structure reading, which is where this patience gets applied in real time. Trading decisions. If this message resonated with you, leave a comment saying, "Patience is my edge now," so I can recognize you as someone who's serious about mastering this critical skill. Your engagement makes these deeper conversations possible. A simple like tells me we're on the right track with topics that actually matter to your trading journey, rather than just recycling the same technical analysis that everyone else covers. There's a video right here on exactly how to identify the highest probability setups using Wyckoff's market structure approach. Click and continue the journey with me there, where we'll transform these psychological principles into actionable trading techniques. Remember, in markets and in life, those who master patience don't just preserve capital, they preserve something far more valuable, their peace of mind. I'll see you in the next exploration.